So welcome to everybody that will be joining us tonight. I am really fortunate to have a plethora of guests. There's my nickel word for the day. We have Zachary Samuel from Pure Grenada. And so you want to start off, tell us a little about what Pure Grenada is.
Hi there. Well, Pure Grenada. I'll start by something I tell people all the time. It's easy to sell something you believe in. My job, being with Pure Grenada, is the easiest job in the world because I have to talk about a product, an island that I absolutely believe in, that is absolutely the best island in the Caribbean. It's a little hidden gem tucked away at the southernmost island in the Caribbean chain, just a few hundred kilometers north of Trinidad, and it is just an absolutely beautiful little island. It's what we call a well-kept secret. We're hoping the secret gets out, but it's a fantastic island. It's the Isle of Spice. It's a culinary capital. It's an island full of diverse, amazing people. It's just, the in my opinion, the pinnacle of the Caribbean.
Not that you have any prejudice there, is it?
Not at all. Not at all.
Not at all. Okay, and we're going to get to Tom and Tiffany in just a minute. But to start with, for our audience, we always like to know where you're watching from. And so we'll start this with you, Zach. Where are you?
Well, unfortunately, I'm not in Grenada. That would be the ideal scenario. But I'm in Philadelphia. I'm based in Philadelphia, and I do sales for Grenada throughout the Northeast and really most of the United States.
Okay. And Cheryl and I, we were talking before the show started that we're back in what is going to be my home office and studio permanently, as far as I know. So we're in the middle of Central Florida. And Tom and Tiffany, let me guess, you're underwater.
Yeah, they look like they're on the Bianca Sea.
That's very good, Zach.
But you're joining us from Grenada, is that right?
We are in Grenada, yes.
Yeah. Okay. So for the audience, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please do me a favor. Go ahead and hit the subscribe button. If it's red, it needs to be hit. If it's not red, you've already subscribed. So Tom and Tiffany, I am really excited. I'm going to save my questions for you kind of to the last part of the show. And not to say anything bad about Zach, but maybe we're saving the best for last.
I wouldn't argue with that. I'm an avid diver. I love diving in Grenada, and these guys are going to blow your mind.
Yeah, because there are some things that they do that are very, very special.
Absolutely.
So first of all, let me ask a real simple question. Why is Grenada called the Spice Island?
Well, many years ago, hundreds of years ago, when the Caribbean was first being, I'd hesitate to use the word discovered, but was first being was first being traveled to by the Europeans. They brought over spices from Indonesia, and they found that when they came to Grenada, the nutmeg, the cinnamon really just flourished. Grenada is a beautiful volcanic island, and things just explode out of our soil. I tell people here, and I tell people back when I go back to the UK, most gardeners in the world, their job is to encourage growth. In Grenada, their job is to contain growth because it's just such a fertile soil. And the spices just bloomed in Grenada, and it quickly just took over as one of our #1 exports. So we produce nutmeg, cinnamon, mace, cloves. Just the list goes on. And when you land in Grenada or when you step off the cruise ship in Grenada, you can smell the spices in the air. It's infused in our cooking. It's in all of our cocktails. We are also just a spicy people. It's a lovely, lovely little spicy island. So we're the spice of the Caribbean.
Okay, and I'm going to put up a question. And this is interesting because I did some research, and I've talked to both Tom and Tiffany and Zachary before. But I was doing some research, and I found a statement that I wanted to share. It says that there's not many accessible options on Grenada for people that wanted to do tours. And this happened to come from somebody that's supposedly an expert on accessible Caribbean tours, and he said that you weren't very accessible, and I was
Right.
totally flabbergasted.
Well, that could come from a number of different reasons. Maybe he visited a few years ago, before some of the more accessible options that we have now were available. Grenada, being a mountainous island, is very steep, should I say, in terms of the terrain, the topography. We have a lot of mountains. It's not the flattest of islands, and maybe 10, 15 years ago, a lot of the hotels weren't equipped to deal with the accessible traveler. He wouldn't have had access to the newer taxis that we have that are really great to get around if you're in a wheelchair or require a wheelchair. And so, just Grenada has seen a lot of growth, a lot of development in the last, I would say, 15 years. So depending on when he visited, there might not have been, but of late, there's been more and more and more development with this in mind.
Well, and I'm glad to hear, because Shell and I are coming. We're going to be there in November. I don't remember the exact date, but we're going to come see you guys in Grenada. And we're looking forward to doing a little exploring and doing a little videography and sharing a little bit of the accessibility. So I'm glad to hear, but I knew the answer even before I asked the question. I just thought it was pretty sad that was, still being published, that there wasn't much in accessibility, on Grenada. Because I was pretty surprised by our initial conversation, all the things that are there.
Yeah.
So let's take this. Cheryl and I are going to get there. We're going to get off the Rhapsody of the Seas. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Rhapsody of the Seas. Yeah, at the cruise port. So what are some of the accessible options that are available? We're there for a fairly long day. I think it's like 8 or 9 to 5, so a fair amount of time. So what are some of the things that we might want to see and do? And like I said, we're going to save Tom and Tiffany for last, because you always save the best for last.
Well, I was gonna say the most exciting accessible option we have is right below me on the screen, which is Tom and Tiffany. So yes, as you said, we'll get to them. I can mention a few of the great options that we have. Well, first of all, as I'm sure you already have, there's King Elvis, who has a great taxi service, and he has a a fully accessible vehicle which can accommodate the wheelchair, and he's fantastic. He knows the island really well. He's a great tour guide, and he can take you to some great options. We have in Grenada, I like to tell people that we have over 15 waterfalls. Quite a few of them, most of them, I would say, are not accessible as they require hikes to get to, but the Annandale Falls is one of my personal favorites, and that's the one I would recommend anybody go to who is in a wheelchair, because the taxi can take you almost right up to the falls, and then there's a nice path that'll take you down. There's a restaurant located right next to the falls as well. It's a great option, and it's in the heart of the Grand Town. So once you've seen Annandale Falls, there's another great little, there's a fantastic little shop, a little boutique shop right there that I'm sure every taxi driver will take you to. And they will walk you through all the different spices, the different herbs, everything that's grown on the island. It's designed to be within arm's reach, so you don't have to travel very far to see all the different trees that are growing, everything that grows on the island. So that's fantastic. It's also very close to Annandale. And then there's the Granatan Crater Lake. They can drive right up to the lake. You can come out of the vehicle, and you can really take in being in the center of an extinct caldera. It's beautiful. It's really lush up there. You're in the heart of the rainforest, and it's special. It's unique. And if you're lucky, the Mona monkeys will come up, and they'll want to see what the wheelchair is all about. And I mean, they're so cute. Well, last time I was there, I had one sitting on my shoulder, so they're very, very friendly, and they're just amazing little creatures.
Okay, now I have been in places where they have monkeys, and sometimes the monkeys can be a little bit of a kleptomaniac in that they like to take things that are loose. Do you have to worry about that?
No, well, not that I've ever seen, because these monkeys, they know the tour guides. So when they see you, they'll come up, and the tour guides will usually give you either a sweet or a banana. I prefer a banana because I don't want to give them too much, sugar and all that stuff. But if you give them a banana, that's all they want. They'll sit on your lap and they'll eat the banana, and it's very cute. Their fur is so soft. I mean, some people don't like touching them, and that's fine. They're not going to jump up on you uninvited or anything like that. But I'm a nature lover, and I'm like, get on my shoulder, come on.
Yeah, we are too. We, my wife and I, love cute little critters. Are probably the highlight of our visit to Rotan in Honduras was cuddling with a sloth.
Oh my gosh, that must be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, they had baby sloths, and they were amazingly cute. And again, it was nice. It was easy to get there. It was pretty accessible, which is always for us because Cheryl does travel with a wheelchair. Yeah. She has some mobility, but it's nice to be able to stay in the wheelchair and get close.
Yes.
That was pretty cool. Okay, so we've seen the lake and played with the monkeys, and we saw the waterfalls. What else would you put on the list?
And then I would head a little bit further to the northeast, going up through Grenville and up to the Belmont Estate. At the Belmont Estate, you get to it's an old historical estate on the island, where they still to this day make some of the world's finest dark chocolate. Now, Grenada was the first island in the Caribbean to do a full tree to bar experience. For hundreds of years, us, St. Lucia, and a few other islands in the Caribbean were creating some of the finest organic dark chocolate and sending it away to be used as mixing chocolate at some of the nicer chocolate houses in Switzerland and other places in Europe. And then someone came down to Grenada and decided, no, we need to do better than this. They came back to Grenada, should I say, and said, we need to start creating our own chocolate from Grenada. And so now we've got, you can see when you go to Belmont Estate, they've got a chocolate factory there where you see the entire process of how the chocolate's made, and not just the chocolate. You can see the chocolate, the nutmeg, all of the different spices and everything that are grown on the plantation. And then it's a great spot to stop for lunch. It's a really informative tour. They've got beautiful nature. And again, like I said earlier, Grenada is quite mountainous, quite steep, and Belmont Estate is in the mountains, so there might be some parts of it that would require a gentle push to get up some of the hills, or you might want to stay to certain parts. But it's a lovely estate, and I can tell you from having been there, if you get there, you'll be able to see all of the great classical methods that they use to dry the chocolate, to cure the chocolate, to pick the nutmegs and do all of that stuff. So it's a really great and informative tour as to how the whole process of chocolate goes from the tree all the way down to the bar.
Okay, and for the audience, if you have any questions, if you're interested in Grenada, we've got some real experts here.
Yeah,
not me, not Cheryl. we're gonna be students of Grenada, but we have Zachary and Tom and Tiffany, and so feel free to put your questions in the comments. Okay, so we've talked about quite a few things to do. You said you had a video. We're going to come back and we'll get your video in just a minute,
sure.
Zach, if you want to get it queued up. But let's talk to Tom and Tiffany, because I put a statement up here that I understand that Aquanauts Grenada has a unique capability. So you guys want to share what you do that is unique and applies especially to the audience for my channel?
Sure. That's actually, we are Grenada's dive resort. It's the easy way to put it. We are located at True Blue Bay Boutique Resort. It has 6 accessible rooms and ramps all the way down to the docks where you can get on accessible dive boats. And on our dive boats, we can do snorkeling tours. Myself and my son are both HSA instructors, so we can help teach those that are accessibility challenged how to support their buddy and really experience the underwater world, which is amazing in Grenada. We have some of the most gorgeous reefs anywhere. I would challenge them anywhere in the world. We have world-class diving. We have the world's first underwater sculpture park. And so there's a lot of really unique experiences that you can take advantage of. And we have a crew that we're continually supporting and helping those who have accessibility challenges experience the underwater world. It's something that we're passionate and we really believe in. Go, Tiff. She's chomping at the bit.
No, I'm just listening and it's great. Yeah, I mean, he mentioned the crew as well. So not only Tom and Ty are HSA or Handicapped Scuba Association
Tiff's my daughter.
instructors.
This is we're a family run.
Yeah.
Let's make this easy.
Yeah.
We're a family run operation. My wife Tammy, myself, my son Tyler, Tiffany, and True Blue Bay Boutique Resort, which is a dive resort, is also family run by the Fielden family. So we all believe in making sure that you feel at home. And my mother-in-law has been with us now for 6 months, and everybody just calls her grandma. She's wonderful.
And can I have a quick interjection here and just say, my sister is, she's in a wheelchair, and she visited the island 3 years ago, stayed at True Blue Bay, and raves about it. Said they looked after her so well. Everything was just perfect. So she absolutely loved it.
Yeah, and it's interesting. So I'm gonna, I have a couple of questions, and if I catch you off guard, sorry about that. One of the questions I have is, so some people may come to Grenada that are not divers and never been certified, but they're on a really tight time schedule. Like good examples, like with on a cruise ship. So do you have something that you can do for them? In the period of time they would have, while they're in Grenada, and because I know some places have like a, introductory drive or a resort course. So
exactly, that's exactly what we have, a resort course. It's a Discover Scuba program that allows you to spend a little bit of time in a pool in a nice confined area, so you get used to the equipment and comfortable. And then we get to go take a look at some areas in shallower pools. So we don't go into the deep, heavy stuff like what's behind Tiffany, but we go into nice 30 feet, 10 meters worth of water, and experience some of just the really beautiful areas that are full of juvenile fish. And it's a lot of the nurseries.
Yeah, so during your Discovery Scuba Dive, or we like to call it a tri-dive, your max depth is about 40 feet. So you're going to have a nice experience just to test out scuba diving, see what it's like to breathe underwater, see what it's like to be up close with the marine environment, and see if it's something for you, where if, your next trip, you want to get certified, now you know that you really like it and would like to take that next step in getting the certification. So it's a great opportunity for those with a tighter schedule just to try out scuba diving, see what you think, and then also get to see, Grenada's underwater world. It really is magical.
I have a question, because we used to scuba dive on Okinawa when we were there many years ago.
40 plus years ago.
Long time ago.
Awesome.
But when I scuba dived before, I had like a smaller tank, because I never was that strong even when I was younger, and I didn't stay down quite as long, maybe perhaps, but do you have like smaller tanks available, or is it because it's a boat dive that's not really a concern? It was like getting mine out from walking across the shore. My husband usually have to carry my weights and my tank for me sometimes.
We are huge proponents of adaptive diving. We make it work. Yes, we have tanks down to 4 liters, which are very small.
Okay.
Very small tank.
Yeah.
But no, it's the idea is that the equipment is top notch. We really do service and take care of our equipment, and we have only the best brands to make sure that everyone's safe and comfortable. But aside from that, we're very much involved in just adaptive diving and making sure that you have access to the water. However that is, we just had last week a gentleman out who's he's paraplegic, and he dived with us. He and his wife, they just got married. They were on their honeymoon.
Yep.
Stayed at True Blue. It was fantastic. They had a wonderful time diving with us for the 2 weeks that they were there.
And I just want to add as well, we like to do what we call diva diving experience. So for those who dive with us, if the weight is an issue, what we do is we actually put the equipment at the back of the boat. So then you're sitting down at the back of the boat. We'll put the BCD on you, and then you basically do a forward roll into the water. So that way you're not feeling the weight of the tank, the weight of the equipment, and you get nice in the water. We also are more than happy to take your equipment off in the water, and then we hand it up to our dive masters, who will put it back onto the boat for you. So then when you come up the ladder, you're not feeling the weight of the equipment. So we're, like Tom said, we adapt to everybody's experience levels, as well as, their body abilities, to make sure that you guys are having an enjoyable dive vacation and not stressing your body. Nobody wants to get hurt diving. So we want to make sure that you guys enjoy your experience, and our crew is seriously the best. If you guys go on TripAdvisor, every comment, it just talks about our crew. They're amazing. They're locals, and they are just incredible, patient, and always willing to work with people and provide the experience that you guys would like.
I'll
Okay,
second
when
all of that.
when I'm trying to get back on a boat, my hardest part is getting my first foot on the rung of the ladder. Like it doesn't come down because I have really long legs and they're stiff. So it's like, does your ladder come down pretty far? Do you have an addition to the ladder that can hang down?
You have a step ladder you can put on the bottom for her.
The ladders are very deep, but also we're quite comfortable in helping you get out of just 100% get. I mean, that's, as I was telling you that Dan is paraplegic. He didn't have use of a ladder. Not a problem. Got him out every. He had a wonderful time diving.
Yeah, for her, you might need a heavy duty crane.
We got this guy named Bruce. He's really strong.
That sounds like a full service operation.
Yeah, exactly.
It's kind of interesting because for Cheryl, snorkeling is a challenge just because of her body's limitations. It's hard for her to try to snorkel, but she loves scuba diving. So we're looking forward to getting a chance. Like I said, we haven't been. We've both learned on Okinawa, and then we left Okinawa, and we hadn't been anywhere. There's not much diving in Texas and Oklahoma, and by the time we got to places there was water again, we were pretty old. So, but so we are looking forward to that.
Excellent.
I've enjoyed our conversations. I want to meet you again. Let me ask one more question for Tom and Tiffany, and for the audience. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. I have a comment here. Pam says that sounds like fun. Has never done. Yeah, what a place to learn and give it a try. Yes, we'll have some video for you, Pam, and and if you just scrapped work and all of those other things and went with us, you could go with.
There you go.
Pam, I will say, learning to dive in Grenada. My cousin did this. He's from London, and he learned to dive in Grenada. And one thing he said to me was, "It's great, but nowhere will ever stack up." So I started at the top.
Yeah, that is true because in Okinawa where we dived, the reef was for the most part, and this was 50 years ago, was pretty dead. So much soil washed off. It was pretty much all covered in dirt. There was still some sea life, and it was still fun, but it's not like, again, snorkeling or scuba diving somewhere like Grenada will be.
And I don't think that most people realize that snorkeling does take a lot of energy because, like, I have asthma, so you have to force the air out of the tube, and but with scuba diving, it's so much easier. It's just right there. You just breathe in, you breathe out. It's very. I just love scuba diving.
Yeah. Agreed.
It was interesting when she was learning to scuba dive, wearing a wetsuit. It took, I want to say, 45 pounds of lead.
I think it was 18.
No, I think it was more than that.
I had like twice as much lead on me.
It was a thick wetsuit, though.
Yeah.
It used to be very thin, and I was just like trying to sink a piece of paper. It just didn't.
Well, and to put it in perspective, and part of the dive instruction was you had to be able to float for a while. There was a test. And we had to wake her up to retrieve her because she was just drifting off. No effort required at all for her to float. That was easy for her. Okay, so and just one more quick question for Tom and Tiffany, and I'm gonna come back because Zach's got a video. We want to show it too. But thinking about where, let's say, transportation and timing to get from the cruise ship to you, and where are you? That kind of information. Are you close, far?
Well, it's what we have to do is meet sort of in the middle is going to be the better statement. We are 20 minutes from the cruise ship. So if you have a full day, going back to what Zach was talking about, King Elvis makes it fantastic. You can come on down. We can have everything ready. We have the docks right there. It's very easy. There's also some docks up in what's called the lagoon area that we could meet you at as well. So, and that's much closer to where the cruise ships come in.
Okay, but it's still 20 minutes or so. It's not a huge drive to get down there.
Nope.
And so let's say just to discover a tri-dive type of scenario, what are we talking about time frame to allow for that?
To do a tri-dive, just because of the pool experience, it's gonna consume most of the day.
Yeah.
We're gonna need to get to a pool, which means we're actually gonna have to come on down to True Blue. And once we're at the pool, get everything comfortable, get on the boat, and we can go. So that would be, especially if you're coming into port at 8, be 9, it'd be probably pushing 10 that you're down there. They have a wonderful restaurant called the Dodgy Dock. You can have brunch, breakfast, lunch, somewhere in between, have a great meal, slide on over to the pool. We go get the pool work done, and then we pop out for the afternoon, and we could actually drop you off back at the docks further up where you could, because it's a lot of the diving's on the Caribbean side near those docks.
Okay.
Okay. And if someone, like, I'm sure there's a lot of even those who were in the military who ended up in my situation with problems walking and things, but they had scuba dived when they were younger. And I've seen that there are like review courses you can do online to like if you go through that, if you used to scuba dive and then you did like several review courses online, then you think you could just do like a dive, or we still should go ahead and do the review with you, the pool part? What do you think?
As far as the refreshers, I mean, it depends on how comfortable you honestly are in your skill set. Like Tiffany was saying, we do diva diving. Your kit's going to be put together for you. We're going to make sure that we support getting you into the water, and we're not going to do any crazy drift dives or anything that's overly challenging. We're going to go explore a beautiful reef and relax and have fun and stay safe. So the question we ask is, we want you to be safe. We want you to be comfortable. And how do we align that? And a lot of that depends on your personal confidence. I mean, if it's been 40 years since you've dived, it's probably good for a refresher. But the things that go into the refresher are how to put together and take apart a tank, and your equipment, and then the basic skills. So we want you to be safe and comfortable. So it's a matter of really sort of where are you at. If you want to do the refresher, we're all for it. Let's get in the pool and do it.
And what the
or you could take a refresher. I usually could take a refresher in the States before you go on vacation.
Yeah.
Yes.
That would be a great idea.
Yeah.
Then you can
Good answer,
maximize
good
your
answer.
time.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Well done. Well done.
Yeah. Well, obviously, because like I said, it's the time is kind of compressed. So, it's like, okay, how can we want to see Grenada?
Yeah.
But again, I guess one of the solutions, and this would be Zach's favorite solution, is we just come back and spend like 2 or 3 weeks there.
There you go.
That's the easy way to do it.
Yeah.
No, it's the Grenadian people are fantastic. And it's one of the things that, while yes, we're at a dive resort, one of the things we really love is taking people out to experience Grenada and really get up into certain areas and meet people and just see what Grenada is about. It's really a fan. If you experience the people and the culture and everything else, because we fell in love with it. We landed here and that was that.
Yeah. I would concur with Tom and Tiffany. True Blue is a great place to really get to see the real Grenada. You get locals who love coming into the restaurants there. They have a great street food Wednesday on the evenings.
Yep.
I mean, True Blue is a great. You'll see the real Grenada if you end up at True Blue.
Okay. Well, so we're gonna have to work on our logistics for our trip, but we can do that offline.
Okay.
And so Zach, you had a video, so we'll let you show your video.
All right.
Hit this. You should have a share screen option down at the bottom.
Yep, I do.
And let's see if I can make us all go to this format right there. I think that'll work.
Okay. Are you seeing it?
Nope, not yet.
All right. Okay, there we go. That's why.
Should have a.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay.
Into the stream. There you go.
Here we are.
So I think Pam got it right. She said, "Oh, how beautiful."
Thank
And I have had the privilege of doing looked at a lot of photos and a lot of things about Grenada. We're so excited. That could be the highlight of our trip for us. And it's interesting because this sailing on the Rhapsody, we do 7 islands in 7 days, and we're going to have 5 days in Barbados before that, since that's where we're sailing from. So we're going to get a chance to explore your guys' part of the world. And with Cheryl and I think that's one of the things we love most is visiting somewhere new and seeing the things.
And tasting the food. We're big on.
Oh yes.
Okay, and so that leads to another question I'll let everybody chip in. So, what is your favorite dish that tourists should try?
I will start with my favorite dish that every time I come to Grenada, it's the first thing I have. My mother knows, she has it ready for me, is a callaloo soup.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Callaloo soup. So good.
Yes, callaloo is it's a West Indian vegetable. It's very similar to spinach. I say it's spinach. Spinach is a sexy cousin. That's what I call callaloo. Because it's very similar to spinach, but to me, there's just something about callaloo that just takes it a little notch above spinach. Oh, it's lovely, and the callaloo soup, it's really good for you. It's a superfood, and the thing that the West Indians do with the callaloo soup is they make a lovely, thick, creamy puree. It's divine. I haven't had it in too long. I'm getting hungry already.
Okay, so callaloo soup. Okay, so we'll pick on Tom first. Since he took that, you have to have another dish.
Lambie Waters is one of my favorites, and it's another. Grenadians can do soups.
Yeah.
And Lambie Waters is it's a wonderful. It's a conch soup at the end of the day with these little bready guys in there. Oh
yeah, the conch fritters.
Fritters, yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Their soup is it's super good. And then I'm going to toss out. You have to have oil down because it's Sunday or whatever. Pick your day of the week. Friday. Oil down. Yeah, Thursday.
But have it after you dive, because
because it'll put you to sleep. You'll be nice and full, ready to rest.
It's a heavy meal.
Delicious.
And then, not that I'm a huge foodie, but there's also the chicken. There's 1,000 ways to cook chicken, and the spicing in Grenada is a surprise. It was, what Zach was describing earlier. It just, when I first got here, it really hit me. I said, that is so different. And it's barbecue chicken. However, the kind of chicken that they're making, it's not that super heavy, spicy jerk. If they have jerk on it, it's a Grenadian version. It's not a crazy Trini super spicy. It's a Grenadian version. So it's always this really wonderful flavor rich spice.
Yeah.
And I'll say, for if anybody's watching that is vegetarian or vegan, the common term on Grenada is ital. You ask for the dish to be ital, they can do an ital oil down, which is absolutely delicious. And there's actually a new vegan restaurant that just opened out, which is called Vegan Vibes, which is really good. Definitely recommend. So just if there's any foodies out there that are like, oh, you're talking about chicken and meat and things, there's still a lot of good vegetarian options as well.
I love vegetarian options. And then are there what is there some kind of a fruit there that I may have never tried, or what is the best fruit to try while you're there?
Breadfruit, which is delicious.
Yeah. Have you ever tried a French cashew?
Right now, so I've got melon on the mind. Every morning and getting melon.
The avocados are huge. And
delicious. They are.
Zach's going, I want to go home.
And there's a fruit in Grenada, and in Jamaica it's called, because I'm also half Jamaican. I grew up in Jamaica as well, and in Jamaica we call it Tahiti apple, and in Grenada we call it the French cashew. It is probably, it's one of my favorite fruits of all time, and the thing is with the fruit is it's so delicate, it doesn't travel well, so I've never had it outside the Caribbean. I've never had it if it's not fresh picked from a tree in Jamaica or fresh picked from a tree in Grenada, and they are just phenomenal.
Okay,
to try that.
Okay, so now it sounds like we're going to have like a sampling menu, because we can't spend all day eating. Well, let me rephrase it. I could spend all day eating. You can tell by my size that I could spend all day eating. I have other things I want to do while I'm there. So
You'll have a lot to pack in.
Reasons.
Yeah.
And I might mention as well in that video, as I was looking through it, I was like, oh, wow, this is great. Everything in this video is accessible. The waterfall that was in the video, that's Annandale Falls. The great view you saw up at the top where those guys are jumping from rock to rock, that is called Welcome Stone. And you can drive and take that view in from, that you can take that view in from the side of the road, which is lovely as well, get some fantastic shots. And then all the beautiful diving, of course, thanks to Tom and Tiffany and the rest of the team there, that's all now accessible. So yeah, that was a great video to show, because everything in there you guys will be able to take advantage of. Some things are a bit further stretched than others, and if you're there for a short period, you might not be able to make it up to Welcome Stone and do the diving as well all in one day.
Yeah, and I think trying to fit the diving into my schedule is going to be a key component of what I want to do, because it is so unique, in that there's not very many places that are geared up to help people enjoy. And I am such a fan of getting people to enjoy the ocean as well, because it is, diving is in some ways it's so liberating, because no matter your body mass on land, once you get in water, if everything's set up right, you basically weightless. You're looking for neutral buoyancy, so you're not going to float up, you're not going to float down, and all of your energy can be spent in moving and being able to see and do. So I'm try to figure that out. Like I said, if you guys will stay after the show for a few minutes, we can talk, because I do kind of want to coordinate this. Oh, Pam, yes. So Pam said she's getting way too hungry. Now, talking about fruit, one of the other things we're getting ready to plant, you mentioned avocados, and even though we live in a mobile home park, my plan is avocado and a banana, a dwarf banana, and some citrus, and what else? I guess that was it. Oh, and a fig, because we love figs. But when we moved from North Carolina, I had a fig tree that was 20 foot high and 20 foot in every direction. And it just made figs and made figs and made figs.
Amazing.
And I would eat them, and I would eat them. She wanted to dry them, and she wondered why she never had very many to dry. There was shrinkage, there was a fee for carrying them in.
Yeah.
But I am interested, because do they grow bananas there?
Yes.
I am interested because they said that a banana that's ripe that's picked ripe is so very different than what we get here in the States. So I'm going to have to try a banana while I'm there too.
Yeah. They have plantains as well.
I was going to say Grenada has, I think, over 20 different species of banana. Plantains, blugo, banana. I don't even know all the names, but it's crazy how many different bananas they have.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it sounds so amazing. Now, one question, we talked about spice, but and I'm going to a couple of comments. You can't stop me. First of all, one of the reasons that I love Thai food is because it is like they paint on the inside of your mouth with spice, with flavor. So a good example, one of my favorite dishes is tom yum soup, which is lemongrass soup, and you have the citrus and you have the spice, and if the chicken if the broth was good broth, you've got the fat and the flavor that's in the broth, and you have the onions and all of those flavors just kind of explode in your mouth. And I'm thinking that cilantro, I'm thinking that based on what you guys are saying is that there are similarities, not necessarily in flavor, but in spiciness from the food there.
Asian spicing is everybody you can think it and pull it together. Caribbean spicing is Caribbean spicing. It's just something about Grenada. They know how to really play with it. It's an absolute explosion. It's fantastic.
And the same dish Tom was telling you about earlier, the oil down, is very much like that, because it's got a lot of saffron, it's got the coconut milk, and then it's got the different vegetables in it. And it's, again, like you say, rich textures and very layered flavors.
Okay, that sounds good. Now, there's another side of spice, though, and I'm curious about this, is heat. Because that's another reason I love Thai food, is that it typically comes with some heat with it. Is that characteristic in Grenada as well?
I wouldn't say it's as hot as others.
Yeah.
Would you, Tom? Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
Well, it's okay. I'll be happier then.
She'll be happy.
I mean, you can find Indian. There's a lot of Indian influence here in curries and stuff.
Yeah.
And you can get spicy or curries, but they're not like wipe your brow. I had a tom yum, yes.
Yeah, soup.
And when Tiffany and I were in Thailand, and Tammy and I were in Thailand, and managed to eat the last chili at the bottom of the bowl, and I was just, whoa. There's nothing like that here.
Yeah, no, you can get hot sauces and you can ask for your food to be extra spicy, but on the whole, I wouldn't say Grenadian food is extra spicy in terms of, I wouldn't. It's not gonna.
So
that's probably most Americans probably prefer not as hot as
Yes.
Canada.
Yeah.
Still it's a great place to go.
My definition of good Mexican food is it will clear your sinuses and make your forehead sweat.
Oh yeah, absolutely, I agree.
Okay, well, listen, for the audience, it has been so nice. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Pam, like I said, one of these days you're going to have to go with us. We have some fun trips coming up. I am hyper excited about this, though, to be this deep in the Caribbean and to be able to visit so many interesting islands and see what makes them all special. And, the accessible diving is just amazing. And so we're looking forward to trying that.
I just have a quick note that now that we're settled in our new home, we should be doing this more regularly. Sorry we missed for the last few weeks. We had some emergency family things to take care of, and that's all finished with now. Yeah. So we're looking forward to seeing everybody next week, too.
Yeah, and next week we have a guest, and I'll tell you in advance. Next week we have a provider of accessible activities in Martinique. And so we will look forward to learning about that. Another place we're visiting. Pam's having a good time. She always
Pam,
does.
it was great. I'm so glad you were here. I'm so glad you were able to watch the video and hear everything we said, and all the rest of you.
I appreciate all her comments. There's so many listeners that don't comment. We really appreciate the comments.
Yeah, but we're gonna we're gonna start doing some things for those that do comment. I got some plans coming up that'll make commenting valuable to you. So
yes, and Pam, if you're ever planning on going to Grenada,
that'd be a good reason to be on the live.
Yeah. Yeah, and Pam, if you're ever planning on going to Grenada, ask for my contacts. You can reach out, and we'll make sure we'll find you some excellent stuff to do. And
and I will put both Tom and Tiffany's contact information and Zach's contact information in the show notes. And so we will say goodbye to everybody. Thanks for joining us. It's been a real pleasure.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.